Hello and welcome back to Hardworking Man. Today I'm going to show you how to make the best summer sausage you've ever had. I showed a video on how I made some meat sticks that I came up with, and it's got over 100,000 views. I get emails all the time, people saying, oh my gosh, you were right, they were the best ever. Now I'm going to show you how to make the best ever summer sausage. Step one is just to get your meat ready for the grinder. I run a Cabela's carnivore grinder, so I can just cut it into strips and it'll eat it up. This is venison. You can use beef. We're going to add some pork butt as well, but this isn't precise. You can use what kind of meat you want. They're going to be amazing no matter what. Now, what percentage of pork or pork fat you put in is up to you. I'm doing 22 pounds of venison and 3 pounds of the fattiest part of the pork butt. So there it is, 25 pounds of meat. 22 pounds of venison, 3 pounds of pork. But it's not the meat, it's not the cheese, it's not the seasoning that makes this summer sausage so amazing. It's a secret ingredient that I'm going to show you later in this video, and you're not going to want to miss it. Now, with all the meat cut into strips in the tub, we're going to add a bag of the AC Leg Company summer sausage seasoning and one of their tinted curing salt packets. We're going to do this before our initial grind. Mix this up as good as you can by hand, and then we're going to run it through the grinder on the fine grinding plate. Now you can probably see the frost on our grinding head. We put it in the freezer, and these Cabela's grinders have an ice pack that helps keep it cool while you grind. Now, the initial grind with the seasoning on it. Now here I'm trying something new. Normally I would mix this special ingredient and then grind it back through this fine plate, and I'll tell you why later on in the video. But for this time, I'm going to take that one out and go to the coarse grind plate to try something new. Now I add about 2 pounds of tart dried cherries. You're going to mix this again by hand, then run it back through the grinder. Now, initially when I made these the first time ever, I just added the cherries and the cheese, and I stuffed my summer sausage. It's amazing. The cherries give you a nice little burst of flavor. I'm using extra sharp Vermont cheddar today. These are also amazing with pepper jack. With the pepper jack, you get the sweet and the heat. The only problem with using them like this whole is they're not very visually appealing after they're smoked. So I'm going to try to run them through this coarse grind plate here and see if it still gives you that flavor, the little burst, but not the ugly dried cherry. Now I'm not using high temp cheese for this. I'm just using some white extra sharp Vermont cheddar. Now add your 2 pounds of cubed cheese, 6 cups of water, and then you're going to mix it all together. Now it's all mixed up, the cheese is incorporated, the water is. It's a nice tacky texture. Now we'll load it into the stuffer and stuff our mahogany casings before we throw it on the smoker. We soak our casings in warm water so they're more pliable and easier to stuff. I always take the leftover meat from cleaning out the stuffer and make a couple burgers. After getting them stuffed, we threw them in the fridge overnight. Now, onto the smoker. Our smoker only goes down to 150 degrees, so that's what we're going to smoke these at until we get an internal temperature of 155 degrees. So after the first hour, we're going to turn our smoker up to 165 or 170. We got all hardwood charcoal and some cherry chunks that we made ourselves. As soon as you hit 155 degrees, the internal temperature, you want to get it into an ice bath to stop the cooking. Once you get it to stop cooking in that ice bath, you're going to drain the water out, dry it off, and let it continue to cool. We just put it outside because across the Midwest, it's absolutely freezing. That's what gives it this nice tight texture. These wraps will shrink down onto the meat and give you that summer sausage look. Let's cut it open, see how that cheese did and how the cherries ended up grinding them back through that coarse plate instead of the fine plate. Also, just a side note, when I put the cherries in, they are frozen because if they're not frozen, they're going to get sticky quicker. There's our little wiener dog begging anytime we have meat out. This is her stance, hoping she'll get herself a little victual. I would say putting the cherries through that coarse plate was a huge win because it didn't make this like a pate when you double grind it through the fine plate. And the cherries are in there, but they're not the big ugly clumps like when you don't regrind them at all. And that cheese, probably go with the high temp cheese next time. That was an experiment. It worked okay. Some of it melted, some of it didn't. Now let's see how it tastes. That is so good. I'm telling you, you make this, everyone that ever tastes it will say this is the best summer sausage they've ever had. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.